Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and today I am going to be doing a readathon, but I wanted to do a quick intro to just give you a little bit of information about this readathon, who created it, what the theme sort of is before we jump right in. So this is the Monster Mash Readathon created by Hannah Blackwell and also hosted, I have my computer down here so I get everybody's name right. Also hosted by Honest Fiction, The Book Refuge, Maggie's Books and Stuff, Being Daphne, Ava's Romance Books, and Lee's Loves Books. So we'll have all of them linked down below. This is a monster romance readathon. There's a bingo board, which I'll post up here. I'm doing the hard version. There's also an easy version where there's less categories and they're all on the board twice. But I decided to do the hard version so there's more variety. This ran from October 1st to October 10th. And I think for me personally, I'm going to be reading mostly novellas because I want to hit as many of the spots as I can and just read a bunch of different authors and I was gonna say genres, but I guess topics. And this is going to also be basically 100% a Kindle readathon. These are all books that I found on Kindle. I have a huge spreadsheet that I'm going to be working off of. But yeah, let's just jump into reading. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today is October 3rd. I didn't end up, well, I filmed a couple clips last night, but I didn't really film anything the last 2 days. I was trying to finish up another book I was reading and then just didn't want to film yesterday. So we're starting this vlog here. So we're starting this vlog here now. Definitely washed out. The sun is just coming up. So by my little clips yesterday, I showed you that I read Mated by the Two-Headed Viking King. It is so sunny. Okay. I think this is better. So yesterday I ended up reading Mated by the Two-Headed Viking King for the two-headed prompt. This was not a two-headed Viking. So if I have time at the end or need this prompt to be able to get the bingo, I might read something else because it felt it was a little bit like cheating. Emily was the one who showed me this reading challenge readathon, and so we just compiled a whole list of books and novellas that fit all these prompts. Two-head or multiple heads is definitely the hardest prompt. But I'll put the game board up here. I'll show you the one I have all marked off. This was a 30-page novella. I don't really know what to say about it without being spoilery, without totally wrecking the whole thing. Because it's only 38 pages. If you say much of anything, you're gonna wreck the whole thing. I ended up rating it 2 stars. It was not my favorite. I didn't totally hate it. There was some aspects that were okay, but the entire time just kind of gave me the ick, and it just kind of drops you into the story and doesn't give you much context about why god. Our main character is in this cave, this like Viking beast cave, but she is. I guess I'll just say this. The only reason that she's there is because they want little Viking babies. So that's it. And they don't like do anything for like 50% of the book, the novella. So I don't know. It was weird. I just felt like I didn't know what was going on the entire time and was overall extremely confused. That could have been me. Also, I've been like in a funk for a couple weeks. Yeah, so 2 stars, not great, but an interesting start. And then if you would have seen the clip just previous to this, I have decided that I'm going to randomly generate which prompt I'm going to read next to make it a little bit more interesting. So I've just been using a random number generator and counting the squares. If I roll the same square twice, I can just pick one myself, but I ended up rolling the space for vampire. So I downloaded Sacrifice by Katie Robert. This is like a 160-page novella. I did read the blurb, but I genuinely don't really know what it's about. I think she's a vampire, but like hates her dad or uncle or something and gets sent somewhere. I'm not too sure, but I have another Katie Robert book, Neon Gods, that I want to read, and I've been really interested in her writing, so I'm excited to read this today. I'm hoping I can finish it today. I should be able to. Yeah, this is the next book on our list, so good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Getting the weird angles in my room today because it's time of year where the sun comes up later. So there's nowhere good to film in here right now. So I didn't film too much yesterday. I wanted to do like a midway check-in, but yesterday was not a good day. It took me forever to get home. It's like turning out not to be like a great week to be doing a reading vlog. It's just mentally not really here, but we're gonna push through and we're still having a good time reading. Anyway, so I made it to 84% of Sacrifice by Katie Robert. I figured out what's going on now, which is great. I will say it kind of just drops you into the story without giving too much away. Like, you definitely get some questions answered and some explanation later on in the books, because everyone's trying to figure out like what's going on. Our main character Mina is a half-blood, so she's half vampire and half human, and she doesn't have any powers, so her dad like doesn't give two F's about her, and he is from a bloodline vampire family as opposed to being turned. And so because Mina doesn't have any powers, he wants to improve the other bloodlines or like continue the bloodlines. So he ships her off to another vampire, Malachi, to continue the bloodline and basically just be his feeding sack. This book is incredibly spicy, and the thing that I can't really get past is the like immediate ecstasy. Is that the right word? Ecstasy that Mina feels like as soon as a bloodline vampire bites her, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of strange. Like it just feels like it's a little too extreme. Anyway, I'm really enjoying myself. There's some like twists and turns and reveals that are coming. There's also a little surprise. It's a little bit of like a reverse harem, which I'm very into. I did not see that. I did not realize that it was a reverse harem, so that was a welcome surprise. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure at the beginning just because it kind of drops you in and doesn't really tell you what's going on, but we're kind of figuring it out along the way. This is also the first book in a trilogy, so started another series in this reading vlog. I really like Katie Roberts' writing. It's very easy to read and I like want to keep reading, so that's great. I only have about 20 pages left in this book, so you would have seen in the last clip I rolled my next prompt so that I could queue up another book while I'm on my lunch today. So I got Succubus, and we had only found like 3 options for this prompt. This one was definitely the hardest to find books for. And most of them were long, and I don't feel like reading a full length like monster romance right now. That's just not what I'm feeling. I just want to read novellas. So I got Succubus Sins. This is a reverse harem romance from the Bloodstone series. This is book 1, so I'll be starting another series. Another reverse harem romance. I am personally a big reverse harem lover. It's always a welcome trope for me. I have absolutely no idea what this is about. I just know that it's like 200 pages, and that's a length that I am willing to read for this reading vlog to just kind of dip my toe in all these different monster romance topics. This is by J.R. Thorne. I don't think I mentioned that, but I'm excited to read it. Hopefully I can finish it today so we can read a new one tomorrow. That's everything for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It feels like it should be earlier in the week than it is. Weird week. Anyway, so I ended up finishing Sacrifice by Katie Robert on my lunch yesterday. I gave like an overview of this book yesterday, I believe, and I don't really have anything else to add without like spoiling anything. I really like the way that it ended. It really like set up for the next book. This is a trilogy. I'm definitely going to continue it and finish the series. It was a fun time. I liked the vampire aspect. I'm a like very large Buffy fan, so anything vampire related is usually up my alley. Like I said yesterday, there was like a surprise reverse harem situation, which I was more than happy about. I don't know if this was mentioned like in the book synopsis on Kindle, but it was a surprise to me and it was a fun time. I ended up rating it 3 stars. I don't know if I mentioned that. I did end up enjoying it, although I still had some issues with it. Like I mentioned yesterday, I think the sort of like ecstasy like nature of the bloodline vampires bite was a little unbelievable to me, just like the way that it was written. And I also wish that we got more context into how the book started, because you kind of were just thrown in. And I felt like I was like racing to try and catch up and figure out what was going on. But overall, I enjoyed it. I will be reading the next book at some point. So once I finished Sacrifice, I started Succubus Sins by J.R. Thorne. This is a verse harem succubus novel. It's 200 pages, and again, I was really confused when the book started because they just kind of threw you in and didn't give you much to go on. Essentially, our main character, Sonia, is a succubus and has to feed on men through sexual encounters. I think specifically on their lust, I guess. The thing is, Sonia has a girlfriend who is a muse who I guess can like read people's mind and control people's actions or something. And so Sonia isn't telling her girlfriend, Sarah, that their relation doesn't feed her. She's paying this guy at this den to get her fix. So I'm trying to figure out like what to say without like totally giving everything away. Sonia also has these runes on her stomach that are tied to something, and like she has to find these men that represent the runes, or the runes represent these men or something, in order to survive. I'm not 100% sure. I'm 70 pages in and I feel like we're just starting to get into finding these guys, but like the book's only like 200 pages. So I feel like we're gonna have to find these guys real quick, or this is a whole series, so maybe it's like one guy per book. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how many books are in the series, but I'm definitely intrigued. But also I don't really know what's going on. So let's just read and see what happens. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. All right, so I'm at 3 different spots in my room today trying to get a good angle that had decent lighting for this clip, but this is what we're working with today. So last night I ended up finishing Succubus Sin by J.R. Thorne. I'm really conflicted about this book. I think I'm going to give it 2 stars. The premise was very interesting. Like, she's a succubus. She has some destiny or like a weird prophecy or something related to her, and she has these runes on her stomach that she has to find 7 guys or 7 different people who are supposed to be part of her destiny. So it's very interesting, but I feel like there's a lot of like time jumps, and I don't know if it's because I've been feeling kind of off for the past week and I just like wasn't absorbing anything that was going on. Feeling a lot better today. It's great. And so I don't know if that had something to do with it or if it was like the writing itself. I just know that there was a point where I was reading this book last night and it had said that it had been 3 months. I was like, 3 months? When? Where? What? Like, I totally missed something and like how it had been 3 months. And also, it seems like everybody else knows what's going on except for our main character. And she's very much like, woe is me, I'm a succubus. Like, I just want to be normal and have these like normal relationships. It's like, okay, listen, like you have this destiny, like go deal with it and stop like waffling about these people that can't be in your life or like honestly are being rude to you. Like anyway, so I think I'm gonna give it 2 stars. I am intrigued enough, I think, to read the next book in this series at some point because it feels like it could have potential. It feels one of those books that is like good book, wrong time. So we'll see. But that is the third book. That is the third book that I finished in this reading challenge. I really wanted to be further through this than I am. I'll put up the board of where I am right now. I have no idea if I'm anywhere close to a bingo. I don't know that I'm necessarily trying to get a bingo. I'm just reading fun monster books and having a good time. There is another book that I want to try to get done this morning and like into this afternoon, but I'm gonna roll and pick the next book that I want to read for this. I'm really hoping that I can get some shorter novellas moving forward for the next, I think we still have 5 days, including today, for this challenge. So hopefully we can still get a bunch more books read. So let's pick the next prompt. Hi everybody, happy Tuesday. I haven't filmed in a couple days. It was Thanksgiving here in Canada over the weekend, so I had family dinners to attend and cook and eat. So that's it. And on Friday, I did end up finishing the other book that I was in the middle of, which I'll do like a full wrap up tomorrow when like the readathon is over. But this readathon definitely didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. It's like a cleaning and chore day today, so I have a bunch of stuff to do today, but I'm hoping to read at least one more little novella. But on Friday, I ended up picking the Demon Devil prompt, and I decided to read Sweet Vengeance by, I'm not 100% sure of the pronunciation, so I apologize in advance. This is by Viano Oniomo, I believe. So this was a roughly 200-page novella about our main character, Joy, who is getting vengeance on this other man and strikes up a deal with a demon to do so. I'm not going to get into what the incident was. Definitely check the trigger warnings in this book. I just skipped over the trigger warning page, because normally I personally don't have triggers or haven't found anything to be a trigger for myself yet. And I want to be surprised, right? Like, surprise me with the like dark romancy aspects. So it was partially my fault that I like went into this without the knowledge of what the incident was going to be about. But it was a large part of the book, so definitely check the trigger warnings. So Joy strikes up a deal with a demon, Malachi, who wants to stay in the mortal realm, and to do so needs to have contracts with humans. So the book just follows their relationship and journey in seeking Joy's vengeance, and we can all guess what happens at the end. I personally gave this 2 stars. However, I can objectively see how this is a good book, so don't take my ratings too close to heart to like, if this sounds interesting to you, read it. Which like do that with anything. Like don't take my word or rating for anything because everyone has different reading tastes. And subjectively, I can see how this is a good book. The writing was good. The plot was interesting. We have LGBTQ plus rep. We have a plus size woman of color as our main character. It's set in Nigeria. All amazing characteristics. So I was actually really intrigued to read this. Something about this book that I just didn't want to read it. Like I just was never excited to pick it up. I don't know if it's like it might have just have to something to do with the fact that like this reading challenge wasn't going the way that I thought it was going to. All of the books that I had been picking were the shortest ones that Emily and I had found, but they were still at like 200 pages, and I really just wanted to read like a bunch of short, unhinged books, which I still might try to do today if I have the time. And our main character said delicious a lot, like about creepy, like gory things, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. There was just a lot. I was just very uncomfortable. There was some smut elements that I think I found my limit. That's just like not my vibe. So I personally rated it 2 stars, but like I said, if it sounds interesting to you, if you like the synopsis, give it a try. So that was that. I will put my bingo board up here. Again, I had one more spot in order to get a bingo, and because it is like the last day, I decided to just pick what I was going to read next so that I would get a bingo through this reading challenge. So I had Tentacles left. So I decided to pick Halloween Encounter by Sibley Stamps. I have no idea what this is about. This is less than 100 pages. It's from like some Halloween series. Apparently there's like 13 books, and they're each, like I think they're all individual books. Like they're not actually related in any way. It was just some collaboration that a group of authors did. So I'm going to read this one. It has something to do with tentacles. So I'm going to read this. I read Sentence to the Tentacle Chair by Sibley Stamps. That was only 20 pages, but like it was a fun time. So hopefully this one is good, if not better, because it is longer. So I'll read this later this afternoon, probably. And then, I don't know, I'm hoping that I can get, like I said, a couple more like really short novellas read that are just like totally unhinged. But we'll see what happens. Good morning, everybody. It is well after this reading vlog has ended. However, I was working on editing this video last night, and I realized that I never wrapped up the last book that I read or closed this video out. So about a week late, but let's just talk about the last novella that I read. So for this last prompt, I decided to pick the book that I was going to read because I only had one spot left in order to complete a bingo. So I had the tentacle spot left, which I was excited about. I've read a tentacle novella before and was like, it was fun, which is all I wanted from this challenge. So I ended up picking Halloween Encounter by Sibley Stamps, and this author wrote the last tentacle romance that I read. So it was just around 100 pages, or maybe it was 150 pages, but it was really cute. I had a really good time. This is like exactly what I wanted out of this challenge. And I'm sad that I only got one novella like this, but it was like a dual POV sort of thing. We had a girl who didn't want to go out on Halloween, but her friend was trying like basically forced her into going out. And then we also had another POV from an alien who was monitoring Earth for some like science degree essentially. And he ended up having to come down to Earth because his ship broke. And they inevitably meet and have this encounter. And it was just really cute. It was like a wholesome, like Halloween romance. It was a fun time. I think I ended up rating it like 3 or 4 stars because it was just exactly what I wanted out of the challenge. And I really enjoyed it. So would highly recommend that if you're looking for a fun little tentacle monster romance. But that's everything I read for this challenge. I ended up reading 4 novellas. I think 4 or 5 novellas, which is a lot less than I wanted to. And I didn't get into any of the like super weird topics or creatures as I wanted to, which was kind of frustrating, but I was also in like a weird headspace when I did this reading challenge and just ended up being super busy and did not have the time that I thought I was going to. But I am glad that I did meet one bingo. I did have a lot of fun kind of just reading whatever I wanted for this like 10 days and not really putting any pressure on trying to meet any specific deadlines or anything with the books that I was reading. But I don't know, it just didn't go the way that I thought it was going to. But I definitely had a fun time, and I'll definitely put it on my like list of things to do again next year if they're hosting it again next year, or even just taking a week and reading some crazy monster novellas on my own. But that is everything. I really hope that you enjoyed this week's video. Let me know if you have read any fun Halloween books so far this month, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.